I mean, I'd probably say the first thing is that getting into conflict doesn't mean that communication is broken down.
Okay.
It could mean that communication is working exactly as it should. Because the mistake is to think that conflict is a wholly negative thing. Now, I'm not talking about abuse or, negative, destructive
damaging conflict,
But conflict is a necessary part of any two people coming together and forging one identity between them. You can't do it without conflict. You have some people who think, oh my gosh, we just had a spargument, we had a huge row, and the wheels have fallen off, I've married the wrong person or I'm with the wrong person, it's all a big disaster. And it can spook us. You have a real serious, challenging area of conflict, and you think, oh, this is bad. I've made a horrible mistake. Actually, no. Conflict is very often the doorway into a deeper relationship. And the reason that you've got conflict is because you're getting to grips with your different requirements, the things that you're hoping for, that you're looking for, your expectations. And it's part of that kind of two becoming one. Conflict is a part of it.
Okay. So we shouldn't be scared of conflict. It could be a good sign that, right, we're about to mature as a couple.
Yeah, you don't want to be scared of it, but you don't want to avoid it.
Yeah.
And, only a psychopath would welcome conflict.
Yeah.
But you go into conflict thinking, okay, I'm not going to freak out because this is natural and this is normal. And actually, it gives us a chance to deal with something. It's the people that tend to avoid conflict that get into trouble down the line. There's a famous couples behavioral psychologist called John Gottman. And he's run the Gottman Institute for over 40 years. He and his colleagues have interviewed thousands and thousands of couples over the years. And he was the one that first came up with this term, the negativity threshold.
Okay.
So the negativity threshold is basically, it's what does it take before you react to bad behavior? So how much bad behavior can Luke get away with before LJ just
snap?
You snap. You can't take it anymore. Now, if you've got a high negativity threshold, you're the classic person that just doesn't react. You're the bigger person. You let it go. You keep the peace. You don't fly off the handle. It takes a lot to get you riled up. And sometimes people can think, well, that's what you want. If you keep the peace, literally, what could be bad about that? But actually, it's the low negativity threshold couples, the ones that don't let anything go, that will go at it hammer and tongs about the slightest issue. They're the ones, according to Gottman and according to research, that actually end up having the best outcomes in their relationships.
That's so interesting.
It is interesting. They last longer and they are happier in it. Because although it can be a little bit hair-raising, when stuff occurs, it's dealt with.
Yeah.
If you have a high negativity, and if you're always avoiding conflict, trying to, you're frightened that it's going to get out of control and it'll do irreparable damage, you tend to just store stuff up.
Yeah.
So that when you finally do react, it can be catastrophic.
Yeah. Wow. It's resentment.
Yeah, it's resentment. And it's just, you've not got one issue, you've got 10 years worth of issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why when conflict comes along, don't get freaked out, but just know, okay, we have to deal with this. So we're not going to be conflict avoidant, and we're not going to just think that we've failed. We're going to engage with it. And that takes a certain amount of courage, and it takes trust. You've got to trust one another.
Yeah.
That I can say where I'm really unhappy with what you've done, and the other person's not going to take it badly and storm off. You need to be able to know that actually we can engage in conflict together and we're committed to working it through.
Okay, so we don't want to avoid conflict. We don't want to be scared of it. So let's say we're in conflict.
Yeah.
Not right now. But let's say we're in conflict.
Could be fun.
Yeah. How would me and LJ do that well? How do we do it in a way that's constructive rather than destructive?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, what I would say is for the two of you, establish what the ground rules are. Because
Okay.
if you're going to do conflict, and it's very all well and good for me to talk about conflict in a kind of idealized version. Oh, it'll make your marriage so much better, it'll make your relationship better. But actually, most of the time, conflict happens when we are not at our best. You know, you're
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah.
You've had enough. You've had it up to here. Temperatures are running hot. It really helps before you get to that point to agree ahead of time, okay, conflict is avoidable and we won't avoid it. We will deal with it. We'll keep short accounts. We won't let things build up. But when it does happen, we're going to have ground rules. So an obvious ground rule, it's never going to get physical. I mean, that is off the table. It's never, ever going to get to that level. Secondly, we're going to avoid saying personal attacks on the other
Yeah.
person. We're going to avoid saying things that we would regret later on in the cold light of day. So we're going to try to keep away from you comments to I comments.
Yeah.
So when you said that, I felt disrespected. Or when you did that, I felt that you hadn't thought about me. Rather than, you're so thoughtless, you pig. You know, you never, you never give me what I need. It's more, this is how I feel. So certain things are okay, certain things are not. It's okay to say, when you said that with our friends round, I felt really hurt. That's okay. What's not okay to say is, I should have married your sister when I had the chance.
That wouldn't go down well.
That stuff. No. You're going to have
Can you
a
imagine?
hard time recovering from that. So you establish what the ground rules
Yeah.
are. And then I would say that, you know, there's this whole thing about don't go to bed angry. In fact, I like don't go to bed angry, stay up and fight. But there's wisdom in that says, actually, when stuff arises, we're going to deal with it. But understand that you're not necessarily always going to be able to deal with everything there and then.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah.
like saying, okay, we acknowledge this is an issue. I'm not happy. You're not happy. We're going to work it through. Get as far as you can and then say, right, okay, we've got to a point where we're staying together, but we need to pick this up, you know, tomorrow in the cold light of day and carry it on. So make sure that you see things through, but don't feel under the pressure that it's all got to happen immediately.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
And I think the final thing to say would probably be try to find something that brings the relationship stronger
Yeah.
as a result of the conflict. One of the things that people will often fall back on is just compromise. Well, I hate that. Well, I love it. Okay, well, this time you can do it. I'll hate it, but you can have your way now. Now, next time I'll have my way and you can hate it. And that's
Yeah.
fair. That's not... That kind of brings us back to functional marriage.
Right.
Okay.
It's just like a marriage of convenience.
You're taking turns.
Yeah, we'll take it in turns to
Take
be
turns to
miserable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So actually, here's an opportunity for us to find a third way. Here's an opportunity for us to do synergy rather than compromise.
Yeah.
Synergy is when it's the best of you and it's the best of me, and it comes together and it makes something that's uniquely us. And that takes time, it takes trust, and it takes a commitment to genuinely find what is going to be good for the other person and good for us together as a couple. So very often in my own experience, it's conflict that's brought us to a better relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than, okay, well, don't do it again. It's been a case of, well, how about we do this? That's brilliant.
Yes.
And then that is how marriage gets really exciting.
Okay. So could you say that conflict should, if done well, facilitate change?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't, they say you can't grow something without changing it.
Yeah.
And you can't change something without causing pain. Because, it is painful to change. It's
Yeah.
growing pains.
Yeah.
And if your marriage is to go deeper, become more intimate, it's there's a bit of a pain barrier that you get to, and actually conflict can be a friend for you in this, providing you can do it well, because it's going to help you. And again, it often surfaces expectations I didn't even know I had. I didn't realize I felt so strongly about that, or I didn't realize I was so stressed about this whole thing. You know, sometimes a conflict will happen because it's nothing to do with the marriage per se. It's I'm just stressed out of my brain, and I've got a lot of pressure, and I hadn't even realized. But now I have this other person that can help me get to a better place, and we can take this together. And now I understand you more, and you understand me more, and conflict has actually brought us closer together.